Okay, so this is pretty interesting. I know it's probably not the most important topic, but um, so there's this show called Grimm, and I used to watch it back when it first came out on television in 2011, and I think I only got through the first season, and then I don't know what circumstances came up, but we just kind of I just kind of stopped watching it. And not too long ago, I started watching it again, and it's a pretty interesting show. It's I don't know. I'm just interested in these kinds of topics, obviously. But I'm in the third season, so it's the first time watching it, and as you can see, I'm binge watching it, and so this is all proof. This is the first time I'm watching this show. Okay, and I'm into the third season. This is episode 7, and I want to show something here because it happens very quickly. But this is how good I am at what I do. Watching this episode. Okay, so here we go. Watch this. See what I see? See that? Spotted it. So there you go again. They do it. It lasts anywhere from like, look how long it lasts. Let's count. Ready? One, two, three, four, five. About 5, 6 seconds. About 5, 6 seconds. But what's interesting is it happens so fast because and you're watching it for the first time, I only noticed it in the final 2 seconds. That's how quickly I noticed it. Just before he went down into the sewer, I noticed the 666. And the reason why is when you're watching it the first time, that just doesn't phase you. It doesn't pass by you. Now, if I was a normal person, I wouldn't have noticed it at all. Because fucking, it's numbers, whatever, just see it. But the reason why I noticed in the last couple seconds, because I'm in tuned, is because even though I'm still watching it for the first time, and the way his hands were moving over it, it was kind of obscuring. You're mainly focusing, you're paying attention to other things unseen. And again, even though I'm an in tune person, I know to see this stuff. I'm just watching the show. You know what I mean? I'm not even looking for it. I don't expect it to come up. I don't know that someone's hiding 666 or 9/11 in a movie or TV show. And so I'm just watching it, right? And you know, it's like that's the way it's done. It happens. You think about it, 5, 6 seconds is still not enough. I mean, that's very short amount of time to catch something. So even within that time, right, where you're just focusing on other things, you don't see it. But the fact that I'm in tune is the reason why I saw it in the final 2 seconds, the final time that mattered. First time seeing it, I caught it. That's just because I'm in tune, right? I can see this stuff. But it still goes to show how they hide it and how quickly it is, and how sometimes if you weren't even looking, again, when you're just watching a show for the first time or a movie for the first time, you're not expecting to see these things. You can't see it because you're focusing on everything else going on in the scene. You're listening to what they're saying, yada yada. So when the hand movements, it totally obscured it from my vision until the final moment where it had 2 seconds of clarity to see that it said 6665 just before he goes down to the sewer. And that's when my brain, my conscious mind, picked up on it, clued in, and I tuned into it. But it's just very interesting to me. That's how they do it. So here's more evidence. This is how it works. They hide 666 in plain sight. They hide 9/11 in plain sight. And my interpretation of it is it's a marking. It's their call sign, right? It's like you have vigilantes or criminals, right? Like the Joker from Batman, right? What do they call it? They call it it's a call sign or some whatever the term is. What I'm trying to say is it's like they leave their calling card, right? They leave this sign, they leave their marking. So it's like when you're watching that thing, something the criminal leaves like a spray paint, tags up his logo or writes something in blood. Like there's always that. To me, this is a Satanist. This is a Luciferian, you know, whatever call sign marking. You know what I'm saying? Homage to their belief system. paying homage to what gives them power, their influence, and at the same time continues to give them influence by putting out that negative energy, by subconsciously programming the minds of millions of people by adding these subliminal messages to the shows. That's what fuels their power. That's what keeps them going on, and it's what keeps them on the air, keeps them alive, allows them to do what they do, because whether it's the director or the person, it's someone involved in Hollywood, in the media, who is part of this group, part of the occult, part of the inner circles, worships Satan, worships these, has this belief system, right? That the teachings of Aleister Crowley and the other people that they, follow. And so they put these symbols. They're told, they're taught, they put these symbols in their work, just like an artist, a painter, right? Puts his signature in his work of art, in his paint. You will know when somebody is a Satanist, a part of it in Hollywood, because they will put these things in their work of art. They will put they put 666. They will hide it in an episode, in a piece of something. Now, someone might want to go so far as to think that, it's everything, right? It's like, what's the episode? Is it more specific? Like, when do they put it in? And I don't think though. I don't think so. Sorry, I haven't quite noticed much when. Yeah, I do find it in something. I mean, the themes are always the themes. If it's a movie, yeah, it's kind of obvious. Of course, they're going to put 666 in a movie where there's violence and blood and gore. This show, in and of itself, of course, it's there. Is this particular episode any more violent or bloody or gory than the others? No, it's about the same. It's still the same show, still the same premise. Like I said, as you can see, I'm not finished watching it, but I too have been curious, because I've asked myself, tried to pick up on it, if when I do find 666, when it is a TV show, does the episode have something more to say? That's usually not the case. I don't think that matters. I don't think it's they only put it in a specific, like, for example, if I did it, yeah, I do it, and I do it in an episode that's specific. You know what I'm saying? It's not just any random episode. But I don't think they do that. I don't think they're trying to say two things at once. I think they put it in any episode, or they'll put it in anything, anywhere, at any time. And the episode or the movie or whatever doesn't always have to be, satanic or something involving, just because this is where they put it. You know what I'm saying? If it's the director's fifth movie, this movie specifically, has some wink wink occult moments in it, or some type of message. No, not usually the case. But what's interesting about this show is, of course it deals in these kind of occult things or whatever, whatever. But recently, there was mention of the New World Order. They mentioned the New World Order. Before that, they mentioned, what was it? They mentioned, reptilians. So they had an alien episode, and the guy mentioned reptilians coming from Andromeda in that episode. So that was the first time I heard something pertaining to the real world of truth or, information that I've, been involved in researching that was outside the fictitious, realm of the thing. So that was the first time I heard any real wink, wink, hint at, reality, subliminal messages as far as the show goes. The second time was in an episode recently where, there were the blue bots or werewolf, whatever kind, were being killed in a restaurant that was owned by the pigs, which are their rivals or whatever. And in that episode, the main chef guy was sitting down with the Grimm, and he said, "This is the New World Order, come to terms," something like that. And he's like, the New World Order's not going to, I don't know. But they started to mention a few things. So you have reptilians, you have mentioned the New World Order. And sometimes I like to think that, as my mom, when I first started introducing my mom to this kind of stuff, I used to like to think that they're trying to help us. They're trying to sign. They're trying to reach out, and tell us the truth, tell us these things. They're trying to hide these things in the show. Similar to what I made a video recently of the new MST3K, where they mentioned things like chemtrails and all this stuff, which is important. And I'm speaking of chemtrails, Richie from Boston made an awesome video, so shout out to him. Props for that. I'm going to make a video on chemtrails coming up. Hopefully I'll have a better mic by then. I know my microphone hasn't been in the best quality recently. So they've come out with things like that recently, and I've exposed it, and I've talked about in that video how there's a difference between when I think it's possible they're trying to alert us to something, or they're not being rude about it, and when they mention something and it's more of mockery. Now, did I pick up on it being mockery? Did I think that, again, it's just more of what we come to expect from Hollywood and television shows, where they say something that we know is true, and they don't care how it comes out because they're hiding it, or they can use it, as part of fiction. So of course it's not going to seem like they're trying to break the fourth wall with it. So I don't know. It's a hard debate as to whether or not these things are being used to awaken us, if they're trying to come out against Hollywood and inform the public of these things, or if they're trying to continue to program us with these things and let it sink in slowly, because it's not like they're giving us information along with it, so they're not necessarily probing us with the information. They're probing us with the terms, the words, which could go either way. So for example, the example that I brought up with my mom, who's kind of on edge. She's a skeptic as far as still being unaware of a lot of things, still not understanding or interpreting a lot of things, and it makes sense. A lot of people can attest to that scenario when you try to wake up members of your family, depending on how old they are, or whatever. That being said, she at first thought, and this was also, I woke her up because there was a lot of TV shows at one point in time. I don't know if it was around 2012 or what, where they really, really, really started to ramp up subliminal messaging and whatever else. And I had to wake her up to it because there was a lot of weird shit being said and done that, didn't make sense for the show, whatever. And so she told me that, she thought, well, it's the directors. They're trying to say something. They're trying to, maybe they're good. And I like to think that, we hold hope out for everybody and hope to think that the reason why we hear these subliminal messages and see 666 and see the numbers is because they're trying to show us what we need to see. They're trying to wake us up and hoping somebody can see it. Well, you think that we're seeing it. We know we're seeing it. So how come they haven't come out already with it? If in the sense, like, they wouldn't still be doing it. Mission accomplished. Okay, it worked. Now what? What did you want it now? Oh, you have our attention. There's a whole truth community movement on YouTube and all across the internet who have picked up on it, so we've answered your call. So if you're good, you're trying to come out, okay, now you can talk to us. Has that happened? No. Does that happen? No. So in my opinion, I think that when we hear or see 9/11 or other symbolisms that we interpret and we understand as being truth mocked, hidden in plain sight, pyramids, ancient aliens, whatever, all this other occult stuff, chemtrails, the Illuminati, the elite, some type of copycat version of that, some type of transhumanistic reality, whatever it is, topic that we understand to be happening in reality, New World Order, whatever. I think they say it because they're part of it, and it's their idea to gain power, mocking us with it, mentioning it, priming people for it without really knowing what it means yet, right? Unless they hear it from us or they hear it from them once it's too late. So the reality is, it fuels them, it gives them power. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people have brought up the point that the Illuminati, the elite, they have to show us that it's a part of their kind of code of ethics, their morals, if you will, to tell us or to show us what's going to happen before it happens. And so I think that when you see 666 or 9/11 in a movie or TV show, where you hear them mention the New World Order or talk about chemtrails or something else to that effect, reptilians, whatever, they try to slip it in there. Yes, there'll be a moment in time where you think that the director or the person involved is wants us to research those things, wants us to wake up. But at the same time, understand that there are millions of people watching who have absolutely no idea from the beginning what those things mean. And it's not in their favor. So that's my theory on this. I don't think that it's anything new. So you discern for yourself. I just wanted to put that out there because I've been spotting it quite crazy. Let it be known. Thank you.